Hello everyone. Today we'll be starting with the second point of unit number 1, sources of innovation. As in the previous session we covered what is innovation management, from where do innovation comes from. Now as there are different sources of innovation, innovation is nothing but what creation of something new. So whenever organizations produces any product, that can be a innovation, or a new product development can be a innovation, or there will be a addition in any activity of producing a product. It can be called as innovation. So there are different sources of innovation. One of the major source of innovation is knowledge push. As every organization does have different skill sets of employees with them, so they have a bucket where there are lot of sources from where there will be a scope of innovation. So organizations are having their own research and development activities through which also innovation comes from. So the research and development processes which leads to the innovation. So knowledge push is something which is a major source of innovation. Like there are examples like Intel chips, or the motherboards, or the microprocessors, or the invention of antibiotics, which is also coming from the knowledge push. Then the compact disk drives, pen drives, which are also innovative things which are also coming from the knowledge push. So the first source of innovation is was knowledge push. Then the second source of innovation is what? Need pull. So whenever there is a need identification in terms of the product, in terms of the service, there is a scope of innovation. So as there is a famous quote, necessity is the mother of invention. So whenever an organization or a customer is in need of something, so it is what called as the necessity, and that is what called as the need pool, which is also one of the source of innovation. So there are important at the mature stages in the industry, and the product life cycles, when the product are passes through the stages like the introductory, growth, maturity and decline. There are different phases of product life cycle. So at each stage, whenever there is a need to have the creativity in particular stage, where the product should be passed from one cycle to another cycle. So if the products are reaches to the maturity level, we can say that there is a stagflation kind of situation which is there, and that will be also one of the source of innovation. Like the current scenario, if we take an example of the electric vehicles, so energy saving cars is also one of the invention of need pool, where uh, as we all know that there are renewable energy, there is non renewable energy. So the fuels which cannot be reproduced, so instead of that, if we use the renewable energy like solar energy, wind energy, that can be one of the thing that will also we can say it is a need based activity, which is also one of the major source of innovation. So the first is knowledge push, second is need pull. Then moving forward with what the third source of innovation, that is what the shocks to the system. As we all know that we resides in a highly competitive era, where for the survival of any organization they need to revamp. So there are different kinds of uh, things which are happening in the world, and because of which there are up and downs in the industries. So inflation is one of the thing, then the need, demand, supply, or there are n number of factors in the economy which are affecting the demand and supply of the product. So whose needs, either it is of the customer's need, or whether it is the need of the industry to produce something new, So new and potential customers, like the small entrepreneurs who want to save cost, because as they are new into the entrant, they are new into the industry. So for them, either to save cost or to have a good profitability so that they can grow very rapidly. So in the system, there are a lot of stocks which are happening, and that is also one of the source of innovation. Then there are emerging markets. If we take an example of the developed nations, that is also one of the thing that they are also coming with some of the up and downs in their economy. So if we take the example of the bottom of pyramid, are 80% under the poverty line. So that is one of the thing where if we take an example of South Africa, the poverty in Africa created demand for cheap food in low prices. So there is a scope in some of the countries where we can have the emerging market. So shocks to the system is also one of the source of innovation. Then advertising and mass customization is also one of the source of customization in terms of innovation. If we take, there are challenges in the market, like buyer want variety and customization at the same time, as it is the market of buyers, not the sellers. So the producers or the manufacturers needs to understand what customers are expecting, and that is something which is also source of innovation, that continuously these industries are focusing on creating the product which is accepted by the buyers. So the one of the example, like rising individuality has also opened up new market for customized product. So as per the demand of customers, now organizations or industries can manufacture the product and it can be delivered. So modification is a continuous process which is happening in the industry, and advertising is one of the source through which the product is promoted and it has been delivered to the customers. So whether to have the mass customization or to have a smaller production, it depends on the demand and supply for the product. So advertising and mass customization is also one of the source of innovation. Then users itself as the innovators, as someone who uses any particular product itself, he can identify whether there is a need to have something new in the existing product. Like if we take the examples of the current smartphones, continuously there is a updation in terms of the storage, in terms of the features, in terms of the um, prices, in terms of the quality of the product. So there is always a scope for the innovation. So users itself as a source of innovation, create innovative solutions on a continuous basis is something which is also needed, as the tech hobbyists keep on providing ideas on technological innovations, and new products for PCs, phones are coming into the market, like smartwatch, then the gadgets, or we can have the iPads or the palm pads. These are all are the sources of innovations. Then the extreme users are also source of the innovation. Like tough customers means good design, and if we say tough customers, which means that it is very difficult to convince that particular customers. So those are also extreme users. They want high quality products. They are able to pay high for whatever they are expecting. So we can say quality conscious peoples are also there. So we called it as extreme users, and they are also the source of innovation. So the users in the toughest environment may have needs which by definition are at edge, like military needs inspire more innovations within the security industry. Why? Because they have the battles at the borders, and they know what are the situations which were there and how to tackle that particular situation. So a tough period is there for the military, and that is one thing that motivates them and that gives them a potential to have the innovation. So that is something called as source of innovation. Then watching others is also one of the source of innovation. Like we called it as a concept of benchmarking. by understanding what others are doing, and accordingly we are setting our benchmark, we are setting our standards. So knowing competitors well and accordingly producing the products. If we take the examples of Korean manufacturing field, that comes from the concept of copy and develop. So they are copying others, and then they are doing some modifications and they are delivering a new product. So that is something which is also called as the source of innovation. Then combination and recombination, crossover we can call, combination of industries. The example like Nike fashionable shock absorbing shoes, it is a combination of art, health and fitness industry. So they have identified a particular segment, and accordingly they have produced a product which is a shock absorbing shoes, which is a combination of art, which is also providing the health safety, and which is also motivating people to have the fitness. So it is something that combination and recombination is also one of the source of innovation. Then the regulations in the government or in the country can also have the source of innovation. There are a lot of restrictions which comes in the industries, and the laws were changed, rules were changed, and it has made the industries to change from the existing laws and rules. So restrict certain things which also open up new market. If we take the example like new tax rules on cigarettes, restrict the sales of cigarettes, open up new market of fake cigarettes, and which aids to quit smoking. So it is something that the regulations or rules are also one of the source of innovation. Then futures and forecasting is also one of the source of innovation. Exploring alternative what options you are having, and accordingly what is the scope for that particular product in the future. Based on that, industries can forecast what needs to be changed in the coming time. So always have a add-on in the coming products, like the same strategy which is used by the mi handsets. When they have come up in the Indian market, they have launched the mobiles which were affordable to the Indian market, and accordingly from low pricing to a high pricing product range, now they are moving. Then they have come up with the new mi band kind of product. So they have started with a mobile and then they come up with the accessories. So it is something that they are understanding the future and forecasted what is needed in the Indian market. Then Exxon and Shell, which is exploring the possibilities for alternatives for oil and gas. So it is one of the company which is also focusing on what could be the alternative in the coming era for oil and gases. So these are some of the things which is also one of the source of innovation. Then accidents by mistake, that turns out to be an important invention. If we take an example of glue stick, initially when the research has been happened, the scientists want to find out a highly adhesive gum. They have done the research, and after having the research they come up with this product, and they have closed their research because they are not able to make the adhesive glue. But later on, after 4 or 5 years, they again come up with their own research, and now they have find out that this is the glue which is not highly adhesive. So instead of having that, they have converted it into a glue stick. We have the uh, glue stick which is now used for the sticking purpose. Like you can paste the photos with the help of that glue stick, which is not that much of adhesive. So it is something that the accidents are also one of the source of innovation. Now moving forward with developing new products and services. As we understand, there are different sources of innovations, as innovation is coming from different angles. It can be knowledge push, need push, or it can be the shocks to the system, it can be the accidents, it can be the regulations, rules. So there are a lot of factors which has made the innovation possible. As based on the sources of innovation, now we can think on developing new product and services. So when we consider a variety of different industries, a decline in a product innovation is matched only by a decline in the market share. So the important of innovation and how the effective management of that process can lead to a corporate success. So there are too many people. New products are the outputs of innovation process, where the new product development process is a sub process of innovation. So when we talk about innovation, NPD is the subset of innovation. So managing that innovation concerns the conditions that have to be in place to ensure that the organization as a whole is given the opportunity to develop new product. So innovation is the base for new product development. So the actual development of new product is the process of transforming business opportunities into tangible products. So this dynamic competences also enables the innovation, because see, every firm has a baseline set of routines that enables them to serve the purpose of producing and marketing the given products and services currently in the portfolio. So whatever the product or services they are having, they can offer these product or services to the customers through their own routine work. So some firms have a dynamic capabilities that relates to innovations of the product and services. So to the innovation of the production process or to the search and attraction of new customer segments. So this will leads many firms to adopt and evolve. So there is then a further level of capabilities, so called dynamic capabilities, that relates to the innovation of the way innovation is pursued. So these are highly creative reconfiguration of thinking and methods for innovating. Like if we take the example that could include Dyson's development of the bagless vacuum cleaner, like Pfizer's Viagra or Tesla electric sport cars. These all are the examples of dynamic competence which enables the innovation. Like this is what the example like innovation in action, the Tangle teaser. So it is something like the Sean Palfrey, who has spent 4 years in developing the Tangle teaser. As a hairdresser, he was aware of the problems of tangled hairs, and significantly he developed a skill for untangling hairs. So he used a comb and a paddle brush in an unconventional manner and could detangle anything within 5 minutes. So he made weekly visits to the British Library to expand his knowledge of brush types and flexible plastics, and then spent 3 years speaking to the experts and researching manufacturers how he can produce a tangle teaser with the least cost. So Palfrey estimates the R&D cost around pound 90,000, out of which pound 25,000 comes from the remote ganging remote ganging his house. Then his final design was for hundreds of flexible teeth on a palm size pad with no handle. So the cost of patenting was around pound 15,000, and he has won a few claims. So it is something that the innovation which is coming into the action, which is only possible because of the competencies that has developed by that particular person. So this is something that today we have learned. In the next session, we'll cover the remaining part. Thank you.